Cuando hay que tomar decisiones, para mí lo que pesa más es el corazón. Estoy donde quiero estar, con los míos. Esta es mi casa. A Patreti.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It's July 1st, 2025, and you just watched the shocking announcement by Nico Williams announcing today that he will be extending his contract with Athletic Club de Bilbao, and with that, snubbing Barcelona in the process. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and today we're gonna talk about the biggest troll in our history, Nico Williams, because for the second summer in a row, Nico Williams has snubbed us. Today, shocking the entire world with his announcement that he is extending his contract with Athletic Club de Bilbao by 10 years until 2030. And with that, pretty much, well, honestly, putting an end to any successful career that he could have had. Now, let's talk about what happened, because when this announcement dropped today, it left everybody in total shock, because up to last night, reporters in Bilbao were talking about how Nico Williams was going to join Barcelona. So even in Bilbao, nobody had an absolute idea that this announcement was about to happen today. Because after all, it's Nico Williams who reached out to Barcelona to let them know he wanted to join. It's Nico Williams who reached an agreement with Barcelona to join the club. And it's Nico Williams who assured Barcelona that he was going to join the club after the whole Felix Steinta ordeal, where Felix Steinta was insisting on Barcelona signing a clause guaranteeing the registration or the immediate registration of Nico Williams as soon as he is signed. And in fact, even in Germany, they were absolutely stunned, because Bayern Munich made a last-minute approach to Nico Williams. They tried to convince him to join the Bundesliga club, and instead, Nico Williams not only rejected their offer, but he rejected it, telling them that he was going to Barca. So everybody was caught with their pants around their ankles when Nico Williams made this announcement. He's extending with Athletic Club de Bilbao until 2035, and his release clause has now risen from 58 million euros to 100 million euros, snubbing Barcelona yet again and trolling us in the process, because again, he assured us time and time again that he had made up his mind and that there was no looking back. Now, I have to say, congratulations to Athletic Club de Bilbao, because they get to keep a great player. Congratulations to Nico, who will now be earning 11 million euros per season, as opposed to the 7 that Barcelona were offering him. And congratulations to the biggest winner out of all of this, Felix Steinta, because he has proven that when it comes to agents, well, he is the master of getting the most money for his players, and in the process, of course, the most money for himself, because let's not forget, it's Felix Steinta who was trying to make this operation more difficult, because after all, he represents 85% of all Athletic Club de Bilbao's players, so he definitely felt the pressure when Nico had informed Athletic Club that he was leaving, and also because, well, now he's going to get a fat cut out of that contract renewal. Again, 10 years, 100 million euro release clause, and 11 million euros in salary for Nico Williams. Proving one thing, and one thing clearly, is that Nico Williams is a mercenary. That's all I can get out of this one, because he might say that he wants to stay at home because he's surrounded by his people in his club, but let's be honest. 11 million euros as opposed to 7 sounds much better. He's not doing it for the crest. He's not doing it for the colors. He's doing it for one reason and one reason only, which is to make money And that's fine. We all want to make money. We all want to go to the highest bidder when it comes to employment. That's totally fine. But let's not, get fooled that he's, looking for his best interest or for the colors or the crest. Because I think with this move, Nico Williams is doing what his brother did in Nico Williams, which is pretty much putting the final nail in his coffin, where he could have had a successful career, where he could have won trophies, where he could have been, built a legacy. But like many, many other players, he chose money over legacy. So, of course, what can we do? That's his choice. I'm sure he'll get to enjoy those money. But as far as a legacy, nobody's going to remember Nico Williams in 10 years. Now, the question is, of course, what is next? What is next? Because Nico Williams has become the #1 priority for the club. Barcelona were doing everything in their power to activate the release clause and to register the player. Now, Deco is currently on vacation, but I imagine he just spent all the morning on the phone with the board of directors and the rest of the sporting department, because Barcelona are now going to have to find an alternative. Now, of course, the two names that were previously on the table could be back on the table. For example, Luis Diaz. We all know that is Deco's favorite option to reinforce the left wing. But as far as this option, I think it remains the same as before, even before Nico Williams announced that he wanted to come to Barca, which is, it's a pretty impossible or improbable option because Liverpool, they want 85, 90 million euros. In fact, it's reported that Bayern Munich approached Liverpool a few days ago to ask about Luis Diaz, and Liverpool told them, sorry, he's not for sale. If you want him, at least 90 million. So this, of course, puts the player out of range for Barcelona, because Barcelona cannot afford to pay this much for Luis Diaz. And of course, now we have an added thing that would make this operation even more improbable, and that's the tragic death of Diogo Jota, because Diogo Jota was a key player for Liverpool. Now that he has tragically passed away, now that they're about to getting rid of Darwin Núñez, of course, Luis Diaz now becomes more important than before, which is gonna make Liverpool even less likely to want him to sell him. And of course, the player himself, he might not want to leave now after the passing of Diogo Jota. So this option becomes highly, highly improbable, even more improbable than it was before, because before it was just the price, kind of like an obstacle. Now there's more added obstacles with the tragic passing away of Diogo Jota. May he rest in peace. And of course, the second option is Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford, who has made it very, very clear that he wants to come to Barca. He's willing to reduce his salary by more than half. He's willing to pressure Man United to accept a loan, because Man United are looking for a permanent transfer for 40 mil. And he, of course, is willing to wait until the final days of the market for Barcelona to come after him. So this is the other option, a much more viable option than Luis Diaz. Could be a better option because, of course, it is a loan. So if it doesn't work out, we can always return them. Now, as far as the club, sources at the club are stating that for now, they are not in a hurry. They want to take their time. They want to assess the situation. They want to assess the market situation, and they want to identify other options. They don't want to make a rushed move and try to, sign the next guy just because they need to sign someone. After all, we might have been talking about Nico Williams for weeks, but the market just started. The market just opened on July 1st. It's only been open for 3 days, and we still have until September 1st. So we have 2 months to figure out what the next move is. And for now, Barcelona are taking cautious steps to figure out what's going on. Hopefully it stays this way, because as we've seen in the past, Laporta sometimes gets a little bit antsy and becomes a little bit in a rush to get things going. Hopefully that's not the case. I hope Barcelona maintain a cool head and assess what the best step is, because again, we have 2 months left in the summer transfer market. It just opened. We have plenty of times. This is not like Nico Williams just announced this 2 days before the market closes, and then we're in trouble because we gotta figure someone out. No, the market literally just opened. So let's take a breather. Let's take a step back. Let's figure out what the next step is, and then we decide. Also, I know I see a lot of people upset saying, oh, what are we going to do? Nico's not coming. Nothing. Would have Nico added to the club? Absolutely. Would have Nico improved the team? 100%. But let's not forget, we just come off a season from winning 3 trophies and from making it to the semifinals of the Champions League. The fact that Nico's not coming does not by any means mean that now we're in trouble. Not at all. Nico was coming to improve something that was already doing pretty well. We have a great team under Flick. We have a team that's only going to continue to improve as the players get older because they're very young, get more experience. They learn to spend more time together and therefore learn how and develop chemistry between each other. As Flick learns and gets more experience managing these kids, this team is only going to get better, and they already did phenomenally well this past season. So would have Nico Williams improved the team? Sure. Is him not coming mean we're in trouble? Far, far from it. We have an excellent team, and we will continue to be an excellent team with or without Nico. So I don't want anyone to freak out. Don't get me wrong. I'm disappointed like most of you are, because I think we had all made our peace, or we had all, pretty much accepted that Nico Williams was going to come. He goes, pulls this move. It is what it is. But I think there is a lesson to be learned here for Barcelona. And that is that Barcelona needs to be more cautious about the news they leak. Because since Nico Williams approached Barcelona, the club have been consistently leaking this news that they're going to sign Nico, that Nico has agreed to come, that Nico has assured the club. Deco made the huge mistake of doing that interview where he announced that Barcelona were going to go after Nico Williams. Laporta made the huge mistake of also announcing that Barcelona were going to sign Nico. So I think there's a lesson to be learned here, and it's that we shouldn't be leaking these kind of stuff, because then at the end of the day, we end up looking stupid, right? When you're talking Nico, and then he goes and does this, we look a lot more stupid. Had the club just, kept it under wraps, kept working, and then if he didn't come, whatever, nobody knows, or at least you're not talking about it out in public, and then you don't look as stupid. And don't get me wrong, I benefit from these leaks, right? Because that gives me content, that gives me things to talk about in these videos. But nonetheless, this has been a problem for Barcelona for quite some time, where they just talk about what they're going to do for way too much. And I know it gets to a point where it's impossible to prevent leaks. I get that. But there's a difference between leaking it yourself or what Deco and Laporta did, which is publicly talk about it, versus try to keep things under wrap. And if it gets leaked, okay, fine, but at least you don't look stupid by having your president and your sporting director going out and saying, yes, we're going for Nico, and then Nico does this. So definitely a lesson here to be learned, but overall, it is what it is. Nico Williams, I think for now, I think for sure the door is forever closed to him. I think he's making a huge, huge mistake, not because he didn't choose Barca, but because he chose Athletic Club de Bilbao. After all, it's a club that wins a trophy every 15 years. So if that's what Nico wants to do, if he wants to, finish his career with 2-3 trophies total, that's up to him. I guess the money just weighs more than anything else. All right, that is all I had to say about the Nico Williams saga. We'll do, of course, more videos throughout the day as we get more news about how the club is going to react. For now, let's do a few more comments, and then we'll end this video. It started with Polish Power's donation, who says the reason why Nico Williams had a fallout with Lamine Yamal on the holiday at the island. I don't know about that. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of rumors now on why Nico did this and why Nico did that. Fernando Polo did announce in the early hours of the morning that Nico was going to meet with his family to decide what the next move will be. And then that's when the announcement was made that he was going to renew. So I don't know if Nico Williams maybe had a change of heart after he talked to his family, or it was just like he never intended to come to Barcelona to begin with, and he was just using Barcelona to get a better contract, because he's gotten one hell of a contract now, 11 million euros per season. I mean, that's a Premier League kind of contract for 10 years. That's like a Haaland kind of contract. So I don't know if he was using Barcelona from the day one, or if he just changed his mind. I don't know what it is. I'm sure we'll find out more, but for now, I would, keep all these rumors under wraps, because we're sure we're going to hear all kinds of theories and hypotheses about what happened. I think we should just keep calm, figure out what happened. And either way, whether we figure out or not, it doesn't matter. It's not going to change the fact that Nico Williams has once again trolled us and once again rejected us. So what's the point of trying to, figure out what the reason was and what wasn't? New Master says, WSP Mo, I heard about Nico problem, but I wanted to ask what would be a good option for the left wing. Do we use an academy player? I mean, look, We have Rafinha right now who plays in the left wing. He did a great job there. He had an incredible season. Do we need a proper left winger? Yes, absolutely. But would we hurt if we didn't bring one? No, because it's already worked with Rafinha in the left wing. And I think even if we didn't bring anyone, we still have a great option in Rafinha. Just look at his numbers from last season. Now, we also have Daniel Rodriguez who could play there. Of course, he's had the misfortune of his constant injuries. So we'll see. We'll see what Barcelona will see in the market. I mean, there's still the option of Lookman, of course. We'll see what Barcelona will identify in the market in the next few days. Isaac says, we are not finished, missing out on Nico. Can't even finish Barca, Cadet A, not to mention our first team. Yeah, 100%. I don't know why people would think that we are finished. That Nico Williams is not coming. I mean, I don't recall Nico Williams being at the club last season. So I don't know how that would finish us. Would he have improved our team? Absolutely. Him not coming is not going to hurt us one bit. This is FC Barcelona. It's a club that's greater than any player. I mean, they said we were finished when our greatest player ever, Lionel Messi, left. And yet here we are. So if our greatest player ever and the greatest player in the history of the sport leaving did not finish us, why the hell would you think that Nico Williams not coming would finish us? Shin, my man, with the generous donation says, like Cruyff said, if you have a second thoughts about joining Barcelona, you are no longer of service to us. I hope this career tanks a pathetic club, and the guy happiest about this news is Marcus Rashford. Yeah, 100% agree with the quote, with Cruyff. If you haven't second thoughts, then, well, we don't need you. And that's fine. Again, like I said several times throughout this video or throughout this live, it's not going to hurt us. Would Nico come and have improved the squad? 100%. Is he going to hurt us not coming? Absolutely not. If our greatest player leaving did not finish us, why would Nico Williams not come in, finish us? Now, as far as his career, look, I'm not going to wish him any ill. At the end of the day, he did what's best for him, which is he went after the money. It is what it is. But I think he is making a huge mistake. And again, not because he didn't choose Barca, but because he chose Athletic Club. Because he could have gone to Bayern. He could have gone to Arsenal. He could have gone, to other clubs where he could have had a much more successful career. But instead, he chose Athletic Club. If he wants to ruin his legacy like his brother did, like other players have done at Athletic Club, that's their prerogative. If they want to, be the big fish in a small pond versus, move up to a bigger pond, well, that's on him. That's on him. I wish him the best. Enjoy your 1 to 2 trophies in 20 years. And that's all. Dave says, I'm upset because we should have signed more players by now. Not really, because the club, the transfer market had just opened. And wasting our time for Nico, that is the most upsetting. Again, market just opened literally 3 days ago. So could we have been approaching other players? Sure. But could we have signed players? We still have 2 months. Ben Boadi says 100 mil release clause. Okay, he could go to Chelsea next year. Barcelona lost Messi and Neymar. Fuck Nico. I'm sure Chelsea will trigger that clause. Ebenezer says, hi Mo, I'm not hurt at all. I'm glad we get to give a chance to Virgili. He is not Nico, but who knows who could become. Xabi wanted Subimendi badly, but look at what Casado has become for us. Yeah, what is going on with Subimendi? Anyone know? Is he alive? Stuart Howe says, don't you think Barca should have given Nico some kind of assurance of registration? Look, I don't know if it was a registration issue or not, because Nico Williams' camp reaffirmed to Barcelona that he was still going to come, despite Barcelona not signing that registration clause that guaranteed his registration upon his signing. So I don't know if that was the case or not. All we know is Nico Williams has the Athletic Bilbao. Excuse me. Yeah, I think he's made a huge mistake. It is what it is. Now we can't really talk about what Barca should have done or should have not done, because it's not going to change any of this. He has made his decision. He's making a huge mistake. He's ruining his legacy, but that's on him. All we have to do is continue to look forward, look for other possible options. And again, even if we don't bring any options, we just came off a very successful season. This is not going to affect us one bit. The only way this whole ordeal affects us is that we look stupid, right? That's it. So it's more of I guess, a pride thing. It's more of an ego thing than anything else. Sporting wise, this does not affect the team one so bit. Do we look stupid? Yes. Did he troll us? Yes. Is this embarrassing? Absolutely. Is this disappointing? It is. But this is more of a, an ego pride thing versus actual sporting thing. by no means this team is all of a sudden going to fall apart because Nico didn't come. This doesn't affect us one bit when it comes to our sporting project. Carlos Vega says, I'm even mad about it. Nico, a man is only as good as his word, and we don't need that influence in our younger club. We'll still whoop Athletic Club de Bilbao. Exactly. I mean, look, for me, I think Nico proved that he's a mercenary. He's just gonna go to the highest bidder, to the highest club that pays him more money. And in this case, Athletic Club de Bilbao, they offered him 11 million. So good luck. Have fun. Superland says, hopefully Barca move on from this and make better decisions. I agree, my friend. I hope that they don't rush into anything. Hopefully they take this calmly, analyze the market in a calm way, and identify, a good option that can come and help the team improve. And again, even if no one comes, we still have a great team. Isaac says, Athletic Club is a corny Banda team. They cry when we want to sign Nico. Meanwhile, they have signed about 12 Osasuna players, and we're lobbying behind the scene to snatch Dani Rodriguez from us. They really funny. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, I think everybody has been really embarrassed by this whole saga. I mean, Nico Williams is not just trolling us. He's actually trolled his own club, because when he announced and he told his own club that he was leaving, I mean, he put them in a situation where they went and did all these embarrassing things, meeting with Tebas, begging him to block this move, crying like no club has ever signed a player from another club, embarrassed them. He embarrassed the fans, because the fans then, they got mad and they went and destroyed his mural. And now they're going to have to swallow all that shit that they said about him when they see him back in their stadium. And of course, he embarrassed us because, it was pretty much a done deal. Turns out it's not a done deal. I think everybody ends up being embarrassed by this. The only winners here are Nico Williams, who's going to get a massive salary, and Felix Steinta, who's going to have a massive bonus. I think those are the only two winners. I think Athletic Bilbao still looks stupid after what they did. Their fans are going to look stupid after all the hate and calling him a rat and destroying his mural. And of course, we look stupid too, because, we were talking about, we're going to get Nico. And well, we did it. Ozzy says, they saying it's a registration, but it is all a lie. Just some egomaniac looking for a way to earn more money. Yeah. I don't know what the reason is. I don't think it matters anymore. Tito says, I believe this was all planned. Who wakes up inside the 10-year contract? Nico is his team planned it and get a better deal from Bilbao. I mean, that's honestly what's looking like for me. I think it was pretty much just a plan to use Barcelona the whole time. I think Bayern Munich making a big offer in the last minute, that probably also helped drive his value up, so he can go back to Athletic Club and be like, look, Barcelona are offering me this much. Bayern just offered me even more. What do you got? And Athletic Club just caved and gave him 11 million, which is crazy for a club like Athletic Club de Bilbao. That's a lot of money for a club like Athletic Club de Bilbao. So I think like I said, Nico and his agent are the real winners here. I think everybody ends up looking stupid, including Athletic Club de Bilbao, who embarrassed themselves with everything they did to try to prevent this from happening, their fans, and of course, us. And Nathan Forts, thank you for your donation, my friend, says Barca saved 62 million from buying Nico. Yeah, I mean, that's true, 62 million. Something that Barcelona were struggling to figure out how are they going to pay it. And now we don't have to worry about this. Also, another one that benefits from this is Fermin, because had Nico come to the club, he would have played a left winger. Rafinha would have moved to the attacking midfield. Dani Olmo would have been maybe his substitute. And then what happens with Fermin Lopez, right? A player who has shown time and time again his full loyalty to the club, who's shown time and time again that he is more than capable to be a starter for Barcelona. I think he benefits from this. So, like I said, this doesn't hurt us in one bit. Would Nico Williams have improved the team? Sure. Does this hurt us because he's not coming? Not one bit. Pisca Michael with the donation, but you didn't write anything. Why, man? Why? If you by accident donated and you were trying to comment and you didn't, drop a comment. I'll make sure I read it. But thank you for your donation. And Shin with another donation says, at least now we can pay the 17.8 million fine from UEFA announced today from 62 million. We'll say from this. Yeah, I don't know why they just announced it. I mean, this is something I announced like 3 weeks ago on the channel that UEFA had fined Barcelona. It was originally 60 million euros. And then Laporta negotiated down to 15 with some, of course, requirements that if Barcelona don't meet, the fine does go up to 60 mil. I don't know why all of a sudden this is a headline. Everybody's like, Fabrizio made a tweet and all these announcements. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I said this 3 weeks ago. Why is this barely making it into the headlines? But I don't know. But thank you, my friend, for your second donation. Let me see if Bisca Michael wrote something. Another comment since his donation was empty. I don't see anything. But Bisca Michael, if you meant to say something and you sent the donation by mistake without saying something, write it down. I'll make sure to read it. Will you? Says, hi Mo, I think it's better for the management to try to free up the wage bill and avoid a future recurrence of registration saga. Yeah. I mean, look, this would have been really, really tight. 62 million euros on a release clause, plus having a clear space for his wage bill. This would have put Barcelona in a very tight financial situation. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a blessing that he didn't come, because then maybe now we can bring someone who costs less, whether it be Rashford on loan or, I don't know, Lookman for, I think they were saying, 30 mil. And maybe it turns out better for Barcelona, because, this whole throw in the bank account at the window to try to bring someone who you really, really want to bring, sometimes, as much as that someone would help the team, sometimes that could put you in financial trouble. So maybe it is a blessing after all. Isaac says, well, they better keep qualifying for Champions League, else they're going to be paying 11 mil to Nico for a long time. Mind you, they don't have any green in their academy or another Kepa to sell for 100 mil. That's true. That is true. Matej says, hi, Mo. In short, I'm so sad and disappointed that I can't describe it. New left winger, I would definitely go for Lookman. Yeah, we'll see what Barcelona will come up with in the next few days. Again, right now, they're just trying to take it, one step at a time, which I think it's the right decision. I don't think we should rush. Again, the market literally just opened 3 days ago. There's no reason to rush. It's not like Nico just announced this 2 days before the market closes, and now we're like, crap, what are we going to do? We don't have time. We have plenty of time, 2 months to be exact. So we have plenty of time. I hope Barcelona takes their time, figure out the next step in a cool, calm way. And Omaro says, Bisca Barca, we will move greatly. Without Nico Williams, we were great and we will continue to be greater. 100%, my friend. That is the attitude. I don't know why some people are like, oh, no, what are we going to do? There's nothing we can do. We just came off a very successful season, winning 3 trophies, making it all the way to the semifinals of the Champions League. Nico not coming is not going to make that go away, right? If anything, our team is only going to improve. So this is by no means some huge blow. It's more of a blow to our egos, to our pride, than it is to our actual sporting project. And Cornell, my man, says, bro, he will root today. The next 10 years, they won't win anything. No, they won't. I mean, they might win one Copa del Rey. No. That's their thing. They win one Copa del Rey every 10, 15 years. So I guess he'll have 2 Copa del Reys to his name by the time he retires. But anyways, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your generous donations. I will be, of course, doing more videos throughout the day. This was kind of like an impromptu, because I actually slept in today. Today is a holiday here in the U.S. It's 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to all my American friends. And I woke up literally at noon, and I was like, my phone had 260 messages on my phone. I'm like, why is my phone blowing up? I open it, and it's like, Nico. I was like, oh, shit. I better get up and do a video. But anyways, I'll be making more videos later today as more news comes out from this saga. I will see you guys in those videos. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, Bisca Barca.